Guys, this is Val from valkayink, and today we are finally talking about one of my most anticipated figures this year. This is the SCultures release of Smoker. And before I get into this figure, I kind of want to point out my nails. I actually went ahead and did another snow bubble monster tutorial, and I did Don Quixote do Flamingo nails. I absolutely love the one-piece nails that she does, and I know, blasphemy, I have Doflamingo nails while reviewing a Smoker figure, but we're not going to get into that. So anyway, I just love her nail designs, and I really wanted to show these off. These are like my two favorite designs. Don't be surprised if I have this type of nail on again in the future. These figures were really interesting. These are the SCultures Big line, and they came out with full color and prototype B-sides, which means they're unpainted, original. They call them original figures, like the original sculpt. Some people prefer these because you get to really see the sculpt lines that the artist put in. I like painted figures, so I'm gonna go and stick with my painted figure. Anyway, that's it for this box. This is absolutely the kind of Smoker figure I've always dreamed of. Get ready, you guys are gonna hear me gush about my favorite Marine. And man, I just love everything about this figure. Oh man, if you came here to hear the bad points, there aren't gonna be too many. The SCultures Big line can be a little odd, I will say, because they're always large in one way or another. For example, this figure is 10 inches from the back of Smoker's coat to the tip of the jute, so he's a very long, kind of awkward figure. The other thing is this figure is really positioned forward, so he looks really good up high, but any lower on a shelf and you kind of miss all of the intensity that's going on with his face and with his action pose. So yeah, you do have to be a little clever in setting up these SCultures lines. They do get some pretty unique things, but I mean, look how badass he looks in this pose. I just love it. So we have his Vice Admiral coat, we have his typical New World design. There are just so many small elements that I want to talk about on this figure, and for that we do have to zoom in really close on certain features. One thing that makes Smoker such a fantastic character is the intensity in his face. He's always very serious, he's always very intense, especially when he's fighting, and that's really what I love about this figure. You really get a sense of his personality and his fighting style. He will basically just take you down as quickly and as efficiently as he can. It is fantastic whenever he's appeared in the manga. I just really love him, you guys. Also, I just want to point out how amazing the fabric flow of this cape design is. He always wears his jacket like this. It's a one-piece thing. I'm sure we're all sick of it by now, but hey, I still really like it. I really love the gold epaulets and all of the parts that are flowing back. And it's just so great to finally get a Smoker figure that isn't standing still and just looking peeved. He actually looks like he's in battle mode. And that's what I really love about this series that came out this year. Everyone is in a very actiony pose. I'm gonna put a picture up of everybody that was in this SCultures release right now. Anyway, the other thing that this artist did so well was capture the hands. These are some of the best sculpted gloves and hands that I have witnessed on a figure. I really love this. And basically, when you're putting this figure together, you do have to slide this jute into place, and there will be a bit of paint transfer on this bottom cuff, but it's covered up when you have everything in place, so I wouldn't worry about it. Also, hey, for people that want to see, check out the abs on Smoker. Ay, 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 that's a great chest. Anyway, I also really like the details on the pants. I like the stretch and the bends. I really like the belt. I think it's just amazing. And if you're wondering how this figure fit in this box, these are two separate pieces that you place together and you would never notice it. It just suits this figure and works really, really well. The other thing that is so wonderful about this figure are the shoes. You guys know me, I'm always fascinated by how shoes are done with figures, and they have this wonderful bend to them. Nothing on this figure is super glossy. Everything has this matte appeal to it, and it just makes this figure look so much better than you're expecting. It looks much more high quality. Now, he does have a little step that his shoe clicks onto the base to keep him in this pose. I mean, hello, we just kind of need that for this one. I will say SCultures bases are kind of boring. They're always these flat Banpresto charcoal bases. They're really reflective, and they will show up fingerprints like nobody's business. So that's something to know when you're purchasing these figures. Now, when it comes to this figure and on a shelf, as you guys can see with my hand next to him, he's about 6 inches tall, and that's somewhere between 15 and 16 centimeters. So he's not like a very large, impressive figure. SCultures figures are really in that scale, close to Figuart Zero, close to prize figures. They're a little bit on the small side, but you get a lot of detail in them. I mean, even the lines on his coats are really nice. He does have a few issues, especially on smaller portions. For example, the inside of his coat here, the paint is bleeding and not complete in some spots. You will see that occasionally on SCultures figures. It's just something that happens. So keep that in mind. Price-wise, since this guy I did pre-order, you guys know, once a smoker figure comes up, Val is on it. Val needs her man. So I did pre-order this guy. It ended up being $36 USD for the figure and the shipping. Now that he's released though, he seems to be $35 to $40 plus shipping. So he has gone up a little bit in price. All of these SCultures figures have just a little bit. Give them a little bit of time. I've noticed that when it comes to the SCultures releases, they tend to go down in price a few months after their release. So maybe in a few months' time, I might pick up a few of the other figures that came out of this set, like that Doflamingo or that Luffy. We will see in the future. But for now, you guys, I am just so pleased with this smoker, and I just really wanted to feature him in this video. So that is it for this one. Hi to all my subscribers, you guys rock, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, bye!